Hey everyone, it's Doug Green and I'm the publisher of Technology Reseller News, and we're back with our Pots and Shots series. We have with us Jake Jacoby of TELCLOUD. Jake, thank you for joining me today.
Hey Doug, how are you? Nice to see you again. Thanks for having me.
Nice seeing you again, and I'm looking forward to learning more about the opportunity and the challenge of POTS replacement that faces both the enterprise and also for the opportunity that faces for the channel partners. And of course, also at the end of it, our reward is we get to hear about another fine tequila. So stay tuned for that. Today, we're going to be talking about future-proofing telecom, the long-term sustainability of POTS replacement. So Jake, let's just get right into that.
Yep.
What is the long-term sustainability? Why is long-term sustainability such an important factor in POTS line replacement?
Yeah, so I think, if you look at it, POTS lines have been used for, emergency systems like fire systems, elevators, we have fax machines and things like that, modems, SCADA applications. And the reality of it is that these systems are very hard to change, right? Fire systems in a building, very expensive, and they're not going to change. So that let's call this legacy equipment. It was built to use analog technology. So, okay, if the system's not going to change, that's why we need POTS line replacement, because you need a alternative, because the POTS line, as in the other series we've talked about, are going away. So when they go away, what does that legacy system do? It needs something that is going to be that's provide the same value or same features and functionality that the POTS line did. Okay, so we do that. So because that legacy system isn't going to change, it's going to be there for the next 10, 20 years. So your POTS line solution needs to be able to sustain that as well and deliver value for the next 10, 20 years. Today in POTS line replacement, we typically are using cellular connectivity. So now when we look at that, most POTS line replacement solutions have been using LTE, 4G LTE for this connectivity. Well, that's, as we, if you're in this space, the buzz is really not LTE anymore, it's all 5G. And then probably in the next 5-10 years, we're going to be talking about 6G. So how do you have a solution that is going to be future-proofed and span the time? So really, a lot of the solutions out there are using voice over IP and LTE, and that is going to work for a little while until it doesn't, right? And then you're going to have to revisit this solution that you put in maybe the next 5 years and say, okay, LTE is going away, so now what do we do? So solutions like TELCLOUD enable and utilize 5G technology. And in one of the last podcasts that we talked about, we also separate that router from the POTS line solution. So that's another way that it gives you the sustainability and flexibility. So even in the future, if 5G goes away and goes to 6G, you simply replace a router, not necessarily your analog solution. So just having this mindset and building what we call a communication platform as a service and understanding that this has to stand the test of time is what TELCLOUD brings to the table and empowers our resellers to be able to bring to the customers. Because ultimately, what do the customers want? They just want a line of service that's going to work for the next 10 to 20 years, right? And that's what we're able to bring.
So yeah, let's talk about it, about that. How do modern solutions like TELCLOUD provide a reliability and cost efficiency over that time horizon that you're discussing?
Yeah, so I think it goes back to the point of an all-in-one box eventually is going to have to be replaced, right? So we knew that, we see that, and there's a lot of disadvantages to having that cellular connectivity in the POTS box, that POTS replacement solution, right? So by separating that and having it, able to be moved around, one gives you flexibility, but it gives you long-term sustainability, because even if that's 4G today, it can be replaced with 5G or 6G or next generations, right? So just engineering at the core level a solution that is going to work, right? Second thing is a battery in this solution. Batteries go bad, so it needs to be a replaceable battery, right? So you have to be able to have this upgrade. So just taking from an engineering standpoint and understanding that this is not just a quick fix. This is engineered to be long-term. This is a carrier grade, and TELCLOUD is a carrier grade POTS line replacement solution. And carriers, again, the mindset is very long-term, right? Long-term sustainability. So all of those factors come into the engineering of this type of solution.
Jake, what I'm hearing again and again in many of our podcast segments on this is the importance of power. It keeps on coming up. The importance of power and also longevity of the solution.
That's right. That's right. So again, it's, in anybody in the POTS line replacement space, you have to meet the requirement of what a POTS line traditionally did, right? If the carriers were going to keep these things around, keep the copper around, they're very reliable, right? If you maintain them and you have that traditional infrastructure to deliver the copper, the reason they've been around for so long is they're reliable. They deliver the power, they deliver the dial tone. But now that that's going away, you have to engineer a solution that is as reliable, or in our case, even better, right? So there's benefits to POTS line replacement in that you're using wireless technology, right? Wireless cannot be cut, right? So there's not a backhoe that's going to rip up your fiber line or rip up your copper line, right? It's wireless, right? The world is going there. We now have the speeds and the availability of this. We now have better battery technology. So all of these things go into engineering a solution that not only meets, but exceeds the previous type of solution.
So, what we in previous segments, we've talked about customer communication. It sounds like what your big message is today is watch it. Your replacement may need a replacement. So,
right.
How are you helping your resellers communicate, the idea of, hey, make a long-term investment?
Right. So it's interesting TELCLOUD actually has two sides of the communication. One is communicating to our resellers, right? The value of the technology, right? And those are conversations about 5G and batteries and routers and installation and monitoring and platform, right? The customer, that's not the same conversation to the customer. So we have to educate them around the technology and making that right decision, because what is a reseller in this for? They're in it for servicing their customer and creating recurring revenue, right? So they want to put something in place that's going to create recurring revenue for a very long time. Now, we also have to educate them on the message to the customer. The message to the customer is, we have you, right? We're going to provide a line of service to you. It is going to work for you. It is going to work for as long as we are providing service, and you don't have to worry about it, right? You are signing up to pay a monthly fee for this line of service, and we are going to deliver it, and we're going to guarantee that delivery. So there's kind of two different messaging, especially like from TELCLOUD, because of the way that we go to market in our channel. One is the back-end technology, and then helping those resellers communicate to the customer what the value of this is. That makes sense?
It does. And I think, this is a big deal. In other words, in choosing a partner for this transition, for this project, you actually need the solution, but you also need a roadmap and a strategy, also customer communication.
100%. Yes. Yep. So, and again, that's what our resellers in partnering with TELCLOUD is, right? We are looking for, we explained it. It's got to be win-win-win, right? Meaning TELCLOUD provides the infrastructure and has a revenue model that sustains it so that we can continue to provide the best solution in the marketplace. The resellers do their part and have their margin built in. And at the end, the customer gets a best solution at a reasonable price that provides a lot of value, right? If any one of those things break down, it's not a sustainable model. If we're overcharging and there's no margin for the reseller, it's never going to get out to the customer. It's going to be too high priced. So everybody has to kind of fill their role, but we all win together, including the customer. So that's that's really the vision I had when I created the company. And it's really what's resonating in the channel. And we're having a lot of success with it.
So Jake, as ever in our podcast series, Pots and Shots, we get to the shots part.
That's right.
We have a world-class tequila today. Is that right?
We do. So today it's another tequila. It's called Grand Mayan. So it's in a very cool bottle. So if you see this now, this one, you can see it's ultra aged. So it's saying it's aged up to about 5 years in American and French oak barrels. Okay. So it's a little bit longer. It's got some, when you go to the oak barrels, you get some of these, like sometimes vanilla notes, chocolate, like, so, aging, just like you age wine, you age tequila. And so this is aged extra long. So it's it's called Ultra Aged, limited edition, 100% agave, great bottle of tequila. Again, standalone. You don't want to mix this with anything. But there you go. There's the tequila for this week.
Yeah, one of the things in this series, almost all of these tequilas that you have featured, they're sipping tequilas. These are to be enjoyed on their own, not as a part of a margarita or something.
That's right. Yeah, typically people have, a lot of times when I talk to people about tequila, they're like, oh no, I can't, I don't drink tequila. And typically that's because they had an experience with something like a very inexpensive tequila that was made with a lot of sugar. So in order to the premium tequilas today, they don't add any sugar, right? It was interesting. I was just talking to somebody the other day, is tequila is the only alcohol that's not a depressant. It's actually an upper. It's a stimulant, which is interesting. The second thing that's interesting about tequila is that if you are in a keto diet and in ketosis, it has no sugar in it. So it actually keeps you in ketosis, and you can actually drink. It's the only alcohol that you can actually have that doesn't take you out of ketosis. And so if somebody was calling me, they're like, no, there's no way, but Google it and check it out. So it's definitely, it's an interesting alcohol. But there's a lot of them out there, and there's a lot of very good brands and good, options out there. So.
Well, again, I really want to thank you for joining me today. This has been this continues to be our ongoing series, continues to be a really interesting journey through, of course, the best tequilas in the world, and also better understanding for really a roadmap for the partners and resellers out there. It's a huge challenge, but it's a tremendous opportunity, everybody. So I hope everyone gets a chance to listen to our other podcasts. Each one's very instructive. Our next one's going to be about no barriers, no headaches. Becoming a TELCLOUD reseller is easy. But for now, Jake, where can we learn more?
Yeah, definitely telcloud.com. Visit us on our website, or 844-900-2270. Give us a call. And we're at all the big shows. So if you see us there, but you can reach me at jake@telcloud.com. I look forward to talking to you.
Thank you very much indeed.
Thank you. See you next time.